What's up, guys? It's Charles here with Rocket Punch Army to do a review finally. It's been a long time, guys. I miss you too. Today we have the Evolution toy, Tetsujin 28. This is a super metal action line. So as you can see, it's a DX style, which allows you to see the inside of the robot itself. The box is actually really nice and glossy, although there are some marks on mine. It almost seems like rollers. This was passing through a conveyor belt or something. See, there's like little scuff marks. But whatever, it's a box. And this is the side pictures. Very nice pictures, a mix of Japanese and English. And this is the back of the box. It's just a nice picture right back here. It's got an old school vibe of the cartoons. Inside the box, it comes with this little cardboard piece, like a hanger. So we're going to go ahead and use that. Actually, it's the first time I've ever really had a background in one of my videos. But you also get the bot in a big styrofoam box. I've gone ahead and taken him out, but it's just full of tape. But the tape comes off very nicely without leaving any residue, and it's also got this soft, kind of foamy, kind of bottom part with some accessories in there. Alright, so let's get some of the contents out of the way. We do have a little, I wouldn't call it a booklet. It's only like literally just one page folded in half with some instructions in there. You get the booster effects, which are vinyl. Just it looks like a, not airbrushed, but I guess dual molded color, whatever. You get a special visor. This visor looks like it's just a yellow version of the eyes that he has. You get the control box. These knobs don't spin. Oh, but this moves. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's spring-loaded. Didn't realize that. I just thought they were loose when I was holding this. But yeah, look at that. Pretty cool. And you get a Shotaro Kaneda, right? So here he is with his version of the control box, just a smaller version. And this vinyl figure is really well done. I like the paint on it. There's nothing sloppy about it, so that's pretty cool. Now, I did mention the LED feature, which these visors use. So apparently the batteries are not included, so I'm going to have to search for those. I'm never prepared to have all those button batteries, but there's a lot of stuff going on in this instruction booklet. There's like some of the rivets come out. Shows you how to open up all the pieces here and how to attach the parts. So the bot comes naked, so basically without the front covers, at least on the body part. So you just have to put them together. That's what comes in that little foamy pack, but it's clips in together. But let's check it out anyway. Alright, guys, here he is in all his big gigantic Goken glory. He's a very, very shiny dude. I do admit I did polish him up. I mean, he's shiny. I just polished him up so I wouldn't get so many fingerprints on him. But this thing is absolutely stunning. I mean, it's nice and heavy. Speaking of weight, guys, look what this guy weighs. Almost 3 pounds, which is 1,319 grams. And it's big. I'm going to do some scale comparisons next. But yeah, this guy is pretty big. And I know when I took him out of the box with his hands open, because he does have articulated hands, they looked kind of big. But now that they're folded in, I think the guy has excellent proportions. I mean, I'm not really like the biggest T28 fan, but I mean, I've seen enough of him to know that the proportions are pretty much spot on. Now, I did do this comparison with Die Rugger here on the Facebook, if you got to check out those pictures, but here he is in video form. So you can see that Tetsujin is a bit bigger. I'm going to compare him to my GX71 with the extended thighs. And here he is next to GX71. Let me just get him kind of like in the same area of foreground here, so that one doesn't look bigger than the other on purpose. But yeah, GX71, keep in mind this has the extended chrome thighs, so it's already bigger than normal. And I do have the waist up here. I'd like to extend that waist just to make them a little longer. And T28 still is bigger. And just in case you're a TF fan, here he is next to the MP, what is it, 44? So definitely much bigger. So I just want to touch on articulation before we start looking at this a little bit closer. The head doesn't move, doesn't turn, doesn't do anything. I mean, that's pretty much expected for this design. You do have the shoulders, okay, right here. The black part moves separate from the blue. So you have to kind of rotate it to get the arm around so it doesn't move with it. So just be careful with that so you don't scratch the paint. Arms go out. No ratchet on the going out, but obviously you saw that there's ratchets and they feel very nice. And there's also ratchets on the elbows. You do get rotation. Okay, the wrists They are kind of like on a ball joint here, and you do have articulation. The thumb only has 1 point of or 2 points actually at the base and here on the knuckle, but the rest of the fingers are in 3 areas on each one. I believe the fingers are all the same size. I guess that's to save on cost, but it doesn't really affect the look of the figure. We move down here. I have seen pictures where the leg is kind of moved forward, but I can't seem to do it. There's probably something I got to rotate in there, so just keep in mind that at least in the pictures the legs do slightly come forward, but as I have it right here, I still cannot get to do it. And here's proof that the legs do move a little bit forward, and again, probably not much at all. It does have rotation. We got the knees. Just listen to that. That's a big crack right there, in a good way. And then you got, well, this isn't really articulation, but it does open up, and you got the ankles, which feel really nice and firm, and the waist. And I believe that's pretty much it when it comes to articulation on this big boy. Aside from some of the front armor, the head is something you have to attach. Not really the head, just the armor. And then the booster pack, which I will show you here how it attaches. So it just goes around his body, sort of like a very Mazinger type attachment. And then this pops off. It's just tabbed on there. Right, and you can see the bottom detail. So we're just going to pop. Well, actually, let you see the back like that. So it's very nice. It feels so good in the hands. Now, as far as metal, since we're on the subject of holding him, the back half of his back feels like plastic. In the red, you can tell there's a difference in the red, just a tad. You can tell this is plastic. The head's plastic. The front armor, right, the chest, the belt here, what I call the belt, and then his diapers, which I look like diapers, that's metal. The front of the armor, right, you can actually hear that it's metal. So the feet are metal, the toes are metal, but anything like on the other side, on the other half, like back here, this is plastic, I believe, and then this is metal. You can feel the temperature difference. So what I'm going to do is take off the armor just so you can see the inside, which is pretty cool. This pops up. I can't get it to like tab. I think it just comes down. I don't really see any way for it to really get held on. So just be careful with that. Don't lift them by the head, obviously. But that's what he looks like underneath. We'll take a close look here. Let's try and zoom in, see what he looks like. All right, and then we can take off this front cover. Now, what's weird is Evolution Toys is known for their like Magneto kind of robots, which, you know, the joints are magnets. And they don't use magnets on this, believe it or not. They just tab on. There's these little tabs here. I mean, it clips on really nice. You know what I mean? Like it just goes right in. This is pure metal right here. I mean, this is pretty hefty. And you can see the details on the inside of his chest. Zoom in here. So it's very Mazinger-y. If you have the Mazinger DX, it's very similar. Okay. Now the Mazinger probably has a little bit better paint apps in certain areas. There's little chrome pieces. But this is pretty much up there also. Now when it comes to, well, actually let's do this first. Let's take off the belt again. Metal. Let's put that here where we won't scratch the paint. And take a look at that here. And we can take off the diapers. Same thing, they all tab on. They do have screws. I can't figure out what the screw, oh, you know what? I'm sorry, there is magnets. So I don't have to edit the whole thing. Sorry, there are magnets. I'm sure some of you were cringing when I said that. Sorry about that. I saw screws. These screws do attach there. Okay, so that explains why they do tab on very nicely. There's like a click, but it's not a click where it just goes by itself. It's kind of like you have to push it in. All right, and obviously there's the magnet. So that's my fault. Sorry about that. Now when it comes to opening the panels, you do kind of have to be careful. I didn't break mine, but there was a broken thing. I was wondering why one of the panels was a little stranger than the others. But this panel right here, see, it kind of falls out. I think it's this one. Yeah, see how the that thing comes out here? So there's a little lip. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a little lip that holds over the little tooth of the little tab there, and it's broken. That was like that out of the box. Don't open, even though there's a nail thing here, I found that it's easier to just open from the other side and pull up on the hinges. So you got to pull the hinges up while you pull up here, and then see how the hinges pop up? That's what you're trying to do when you put your finger back there. Alright, so we'll get that open. Had to edit this back in here because I forgot, but you can also open up the top of the hands to reveal the insides. And then same thing with the legs. You kind of want to split it up on the opposite side as you pull up on this side. It makes it much easier to open because you have to pop those hinges up. I don't like the idea of the hinges having those little tabs like that. I feel like that might be fragile if you're not careful with it. Hopefully it's a good plastic. But we've opened the leg here, so let me do the rest and show you what it looks like, the finished product. Alright, so here's him completely open, all his panels open. I love the wiring on the arm here. Let's see if we can take a zoom here without it going out of focus. That's pretty cool. And it's got springs there, whatever, and the vents on his chest. I thought this was a button. I actually pressed that and pushed it in a little bit. Don't do that. That's the, I think it's the infrared for the LEDs. So apparently the actual control for it does control the LEDs. So, but yeah, the strange thing is you can't really take them off. I've seen people pop them off because they're kind of just tabbed in. You know what I mean? But the fact that this one is broken on the right here leads me to believe they're not really meant to be taken out. But I guess you can if you could, if you want to. I mean, but I'm not going to do that. Just going to leave it like that. I'm not really going to display it like this anyway, even though it's one of the coolest parts of it. Now the pictures do show him half open and half closed. He does not come with those parts, guys. And I was looking at the warranty on the box. It does say the warranty is for 8 months, and it says limited edition 3 months. So I don't know if that's just a general statement or if there's a limited edition coming out. Hopefully that'll have extra parts or whatever, if they even make it. That's not a guarantee. Just something I noticed on the box. And forgot to show you this too. The backpack also can open up. That's got some really nice detail. All you do is put your nail right in that little spot and it pops open. Of course this one is going to give me a hard time on camera, but the other one popped off very easily. But there you go. Alright, so we're going to check out the LED. There's this part here sticking out behind. I'm not going to pull it out, but there's 2 AAA batteries. So at least those are normal batteries. I'm going to push that in. That lines up the LED with the eyes. Grab the remote and pop the right lever down. There you go. Show you what it looks like with the head on there. So to change the eyes out for the yellow visor, you pop the front of the face off, and then you have the visor there. You see how it clips on in that little tab. Of course, my visor was broken, so I can fix that, but it's still a pain in the butt. Now granted, I could have broken it, taken it out of here, because there's tape around it. I don't think so. By the way, guys, don't ever use crazy glue on stuff like this. Use something like this, where it actually bonds the plastic. It's not a glue that fuses them together, or glues them together. It actually, well, it does fuse it at a molecular level. So there's no glue. This is not glue. You can spill it on your hand. It's not sticky. But what it does is it just makes the plastic fuse together. But anyway, I'm kind of afraid to push that hole into the tab because this one's kind of wedged in there, but I'll give it a shot. Alright, so I didn't push the visor all the way in. It is there. It's hard to see because I have the lights dim. I didn't push it in all the way, but it's holding. And then we'll do this. And there you go. It's kind of like a greenish look to it. I don't know if that helps any better, but it does look kind of green. It's more yellow when it's really off, but with the lights on, it looked kind of green. Another thing I want to point out is that the back of this remote here has a little LED, the little infrared LED, and there's also a receiving one on this side, which is right here. If you have any issues when you have the full armor on, this rivet right here does pop off, which allows like literally the infrared to go through that little hole. So if you have issues with the LED, you can do that. So you can see I'm putting everything on. Chest, see how it pops in? It's not necessarily a magnetic feel to it. It's just pops in, see? But at least that did pop in magnetically there. Alright, so just finishing up here. Bring this around. Bring this down. And, oops, his arms are backwards. Always remember to spin them around because when you do the opening of the panels, they are going to be backwards. At least the way I did it. Alright. So what I was trying to do, see how this one doesn't stay there because of that broken piece, doesn't really shut. What I was trying to do is get the shoulder to spin around, so this open hole comes here, and you can bring the arm out this way. And we can kind of see a looseness there, which is probably not cool on the figure of this price. This one doesn't seem to do that, but I can't spin the shoulder enough like that. So just pointing out the little things I just found. So that's a bummer to have a loose arm like that, and that's a bummer that this is broken, and that's a bummer that I can't spin that, because I was going to show you him cupping his hand holding Shotaro, and I'm not going to be able to. It's going to be a little bit crooked, but I'll try and do my best. Alright, so that's pretty much the best I could do. I wish it was more centered, but it's not going to happen with that bum shoulder. I don't know it's probably catching on a piece of plastic flash, but again, unacceptable on a figure of this price, which I'll get to in just a moment. This one spins fine. Why can't that one spin fine? I can't see where it's catching, but it's annoying. But that's the best I could do. Again, I'm not displaying it like this, but just for you guys that like to do the full articulation thing, that's something you should look out for. If you guys have it, let me know if yours is the same. If you can't rotate the black, let me know if there's any kind of issues on yours. All right, so there's Shotaro. Like I said, he's very nicely detailed. Very cool vinyl piece. All right, and then the last thing I wanted to show you guys was the booster effect. So you can just pop them in. Again, they're vinyl. Screw them in so I don't have to push too hard. They do look a little different than they did on the box, but I think these look better than the ones on the box. But let's take a look at that here, just like that. Pretty cool. As a matter of fact, the ones on the box look like they're chrome with like a mist of yellow and orange. Let me show you guys that. See? Kind of looks like chrome, like with a transparent yellow, a transparent orange. Like I said, it's about time to wrap it up. Let's talk price. It's about $420. I'm sure there are probably different areas where they're cheaper, different parts of the earth or whatever. But it's $400. That's pretty expensive. A little over $400. Now, for $400, I don't expect any issues. I was very upset with my Voltus DX because it was, even though it has support from Bandai, it's a pain in the butt. They wanted videos. They wanted me to, you know, film it on a Tuesday at 5 o'clock when the full moon is out. Like, they were asking way too much. It's like, here's the pictures, dude. It's broken. Anyway, that's getting off the point here. So, it has its issues. I don't think they're ridiculous issues. Like the shoulder that I showed you, that should just rotate with the upper arm. I don't know what the deal was with that. I guess it has something to do with the way the arms come out. Who knows? This should rotate freely. I should not have a broken panel tab out of the box. There should be no loose, articulations, just from only having played with it like during this review. But aside from that, do I love it? I absolutely do love it. I don't regret spending what I did on it because I'm so happy with it. It looks great, feels great. Aside from those little stupid issues, which you will only come across if you're actually playing with it. But I think it's well executed, and definitely is something that if you're a fan of this or anything remotely to this, you probably would enjoy it. Now, guys, if you stuck around this far, I do want to talk about the future of the channel. As you notice, there's less and less videos popping up. That's because, number one, there's not a lot of stuff that I really want on this channel that's coming out. There's a lot of stuff I want, just, but I'm trying to save up for the big stuff like this and the upcoming Blitzway and things like that. But the channel is pretty much on its last legs. I do want to thank BBTS for the continued advertising that allows this to continue. But if you guys want to support the channel, I know there's not a lot of content, but I could definitely change that if there's more support. There's a Patreon to keep the channel alive. You can support the channel that way. You can also buy t-shirts. I do have stickers for the channel. If you visit the Rocket Punch Army Facebook, you can contact me through there. I can get you some stickers. And if for some reason you're in the industry and you want to send me stuff for review, that's perfect also. Just please make sure it sticks to the stuff that I do, robots. That's pretty much, guys. Thanks for tuning in again. Be back soon with the Blitzway Voltron. Speaking of Voltron, there's a link also, if I remember to do it, a link for the 3.0 Voltron. So check it out through there. It should still be available. But that's it, guys. Till next time. Bye-bye.